Barak Yahweh Barakatha Yahweh Barak Yahweh Barakatha Yahweh Ba Hashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and sincerity. Lesson will be entitled, His Deadly Wound Was Healed. Lord will, you are edified. If you can receive this in the spirit, you have a concept called reincarnation. Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which has been is now, and that which is to be has already been. This supports what? Reincarnation. And the Most High requires that which is past. So when you break down reincarnation, people, kingdoms, and animals, okay, are reincarnated. All right, keep that in mind. So let's go to Revelation 13 and 1. And I stood, referring to John the Revelator, on the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. Now the sea is what? A representation or symbolic for people. So let's go to Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which you saw where the whore, which is America, sit are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So again, the sea is a representation for peoples or nations, right? Having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, this is the dynasty of the Edomites. The 10 horns is a representation for the EU. Remember, the EU started with what? 10 kingdoms, okay? 10 nations. However, Esau, beginning with their nobility, added more nations to the EU to offset prophecy. The 7 heads, which are what? 7 kingdoms, going into Germanian Major, Germanian Minor, Spain, France, Britain, Rome, and Greece, okay? And on his head, the name of blasphemy. Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, right? This is the beginning of the Greek or Edom Slakia. This is the beginning of the Edomite dynasty, okay? The Edomite dynasty started with what? The Greek Empire. So let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece. So after the Median Persian Empire, you have the rulership of the Greeks. Okay, led by who? Alexander, not the great, but the terrible. Verse 2, and the reason why, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth. Verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereon he was exalted, and his mind was lifted up, because of these accomplishments that Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, allowed him to receive or accomplish. What happened? He became prideful, okay? And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. But the point is that after the Median Persian Empire, you had the Greek rulership, beginning with Alexander the Terrible, and this was ordained by Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. So, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, okay, a representation for the Greek Empire, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Now, the feet of a bear is a representation for who? The the so-called Russians, who are Edomites. Okay, the so-called Greeks were Edomites. The so-called Romans were Edomites. Okay, so John is basically, in a nutshell, via the Spirit, giving prophecy, the beginning of the Edomite dynasty and the end of the Edomite dynasty. Because remember, Russia will shoot missiles on America, and America will shoot missiles back on Russia. But America is going to be destroyed. So Edomites will verse Edomites also in WW3 along with these other nations. So, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, which is a representation for Russia. So let's go to Ezekiel chapter 38. Verse 1. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog, the land of Magog. Okay, this is Russia. The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, which is a representation for modern day Turkey, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, because they are Edomites. And the Most High is going to use the so-called Russians as a catalyst to provoke WW3. Verse 4, and I will turn you back. And okay, so I will turn you back into what? Having that old Soviet Union format / mindset. Okay, going back into the ways of the Soviet Union. Okay, that means that. So, and I will turn you back into that Soviet Union and put hooks into your jaws. If the Most High is able to put hooks into the jaws of the so-called Russians, that means he controlled them. Okay, and I will bring you forth and all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And this is for WW3. And the main opponents are America versus Russia. So back into Revelation 13:2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, the beginning of the Edomite dynasty, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, the end of the Edomite dynasty, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. Okay, so this is a representation for Great Britain. And the dragon, which is the pagan Rome Empire, gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay? The pagan Rome Empire is the dragon, and the mouth of a lion is a representation for Great Britain. And his seat and great authority. Verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. Okay, going into what? The end of the pagan Rome Empire. And his deadly wound was healed. How so? Via America. Okay, the deadly wound was healed via America. Okay, and all the world wondered after the beast. Okay, look at America and think about ancient Rome. Okay, ancient Rome had what? Colosseums. Okay, where the gladiators performed before the people. Now, in today's time frame, you have what? Hockey, basketball, football, baseball. Okay, and guess what? The modern day Colosseums are your arenas, your football fields, your basketball courts, your baseball fields. Okay? And the gladiators are now what? Football players, basketball players, baseball players. And also you have what? Boxing matches that are located inside of these arenas. Okay? MMA fights, which are located inside of these arenas, which are nothing but ancient coliseums. And when I was in school, we had to learn Roman numerals. Why? Because America came back as Rome reloaded. When you go into law, guess what? You have to know Latin. Okay, and even when you think about the anatomy of the body, okay, some body parts are labeled or identified in Latin terms. Why is that? Because America came back as Rome reloaded. That is how this deadly wound was healed, through the arrival or birth of America. Okay, so this video was inspired by a video I came across on TikTok, and it's called The Roman Circus. Also, video will be used for fair use purpose only.
That's why they pay athletes. You okay? There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. Then he begins to throw the Christians to the lions, and he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions.
See, your Caesars became what? Presidents. And did not Rome have a Senate? Does not America have senators?
Nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists. Care how long.
So these basketball, football, boxing matches, all of these are nothing but distractions to keep the people distracted while the new WO is being perfected. Okay? So by this perfection, then the nobility of Edom will soon what? Exercise this game plan on earth. So again, let's go back to the leading precept in Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which has been is now the pagan Roman Empire, okay, coming back as America. And that which is to be has already been, and the Most High requires that which is past. So again, people, kingdoms, and animals all are reincarnated. Lord will you edify. Shalom.